Have you ever wanted an easy, low-cost way to invest in stocks, ETFs, and even get a high interest rate on your cash? Well, Trade Republic might be exactly what you need. But is it really worth it compared to the other alternatives we have here in Europe? In this video, I'll break down the pros and cons, show you around the platform, and whether Trade Republic is the right broker for you. Hello finance people, I'm Robert, and on this channel I talk about investing and personal finance from a European perspective. So let's start with what makes Trade Republic great. If you ever opened a traditional broker's app and felt like you were looking at NASA control panel, Trade Republic is the complete opposite. It has by far the most minimalistic design from all the apps I've used. It's just so clean. Want to invest? Sure, just search for a stock, tap buy, and you're done. And I feel this is perfect for beginners. Even if you've never invested before, you'll get the hang of it really fast, just because they don't have that many features to confuse you with. So if you want a simple way to invest without getting lost, this is a big plus. The second thing I like is that Trade Republic keeps it simple and cheap. It's €1 per trade for stocks and ETFs. That's it. This makes it one of the most affordable investing platforms in Europe. But there's a small caveat, and I'll get to that in the things I dislike about the platform. So have you ever heard of dollar cost averaging, or in our case in Europe, euro cost averaging? It's a fancy way of saying invest regularly, no matter what market is doing, and it's a strategy I'm using right now to invest long term. Trade Republic lets you automate investments with recurring and monthly buys, which means you can set it and just forget it. It will automatically invest for you, which is perfect for long-term investors who want to be passive. This way you don't need to think about when to invest. You just made the decision once and it works for you indefinitely. The fourth, and one of the biggest reasons I like Trade Republic, is because it's fully regulated in Germany under BaFin. It's basically the German financial authority. That means strict investor protection laws. Basically, they are regulated like a bank, not just a brokerage, but a bank. For me, this gives just an extra peace of mind, because not all brokers are created equal. Some have Cyprus licenses with smaller investor protections and smaller banking system in general. But speaking of safety, Trade Republic isn't just a broker, it's also a licensed bank. That means your cash deposits are protected up to 100,000 euros under EU law. Even if Trade Republic goes bankrupt, you'll be able to retrieve that money, I guess, eventually. Most other brokers offer about 20,000 euros in protection, making this as a huge plus for Trade Republic. Lastly, I like that Trade Republic isn't just for investing. It also pays high interest rate on cash deposits. They take the rate from the European Central Bank and then pass it on all to you without a markup. Right now, the interest rate is about 2.75, but in 6 months ago, it was closer to 4%. So this changes all the time. They pay the interest monthly, so your cash earns money by just sitting there in your account. So it's a good option for parking your cash as well. The way Trade Republic does it, it's actually a bank account, and you get even a bank number and everything. You can send money to it and withdraw money from it, but you cannot send money to your friends, for example. It's just between your assigned account and the Trade Republic account. And since I mentioned ECB rates, I've started a newsletter where I share my thoughts about investing in personal finance from a European perspective. If you want to receive the weekly newsletter, just sign up. It's the first link in the video description. So before talking about what I don't like about Trade Republic, I want to show you how the platform looks like, because that's kind of the best part of it. It's super simple. You have at the top wealth and cash. That's wealth. Basically, you have your stocks and ETFs, and cash is how much you're saving there. So for example, here, you can see this green ball. I have 13 euros every month coming to my account in form of interest. You can see here in transactions. So for example, in 1st of February, I got 13 euros on my about 5,000 euros. So really nice. It's really clear when you keep your cash there and it's separate. Then you have the wealth. Here you'll see some basic stuff like the current investments I have, just a very small amounts because I was showing something. Then you have things you can follow, you have analytics and things like that. But look how easy it is. For example, if I want to transfer money, here at the bottom there's a button. Here you can add or send. Or if you want to browse certain assets, so here I tap on browse at the bottom, and now I can start typing. Let's say I'm looking for Nokia, I'm being nostalgic, and now if I tap on Nokia, from here I can view more information about this stock. Right now, the buy button, for example, is grayed out just because the exchange is actually closed right now. So you cannot buy this stock
from the exchange. So that's why it's also grayed out. I wish there was a functionality that you can buy it even outside of the opening hours, so that if you're working on weekends, it would do it automatically. Let's take a look at ETFs. Let's say you want to invest in S&P 500, which is basically just the 500 biggest companies in the US. So here I can tap on this ETFs title, and you see there's a lot of different options. So if I pick the one here at the top, the accumulating one, you'll see how it's been performing last year, huge increase. You see exchanges closed. But what's cool here, you immediately see, okay, this fund, so this ETF has these companies. There's more companies than these. These are just the top 5. Then we have the industries, we have countries. In this case, obviously, it's 100% US, but there could be multiple different companies. And I like how easy it is to read. You have here product information, dividend is accumulating, so the dividends get reinvested automatically, annual cost, and so on. It's just so easy to use. And let's say you actually want to invest into this every month. So it's you're going to do euro cost averaging. Here at the bottom, you have save. You tap on it. You say, okay, I want to, let's say, invest 100 euros every month. Then if I click on tap on next, then you can choose how often. Here we can say monthly. And I can set, okay, I get at the end of the month, I get my salary. So maybe at the beginning of the month, I will actually invest. Here I can choose if what is the payment method? Is it my cash reserves on Trade Republic, or maybe I can just use my bank account? After you choose the payment method, it's just going to automatically invest for you every month.
Okay, that's the good things about Trade Republic. Let's talk about what's not so great about it. First of all, most brokers let you trade on multiple exchanges. New York Exchange, London Stock Exchange, Euronext, and so on. Trade Republic only offers assets from one exchange, and that's the Lang & Schwartz exchange. This means you have a fewer options compared to global brokers like Interactive Brokers or Trading 212. And since it's a smaller exchange, it might have slightly higher spreads, the difference between buy and sell price. And I'll get back to this point in just a minute. For most long-term investors, this isn't a deal breaker, since Trade Republic covers the big name stocks like Apple, Tesla, Microsoft. It doesn't have every stock out there, but it has a decent selection, especially when it comes to ETFs. The second issue I see with Trade Republic is how they make their money. You also need to think how they make their money. They use payment for order flow, which is when a broker like Trade Republic sends your trades to specific market maker instead of directly to a stock exchange. These market makers execute trade and in return pay the broker a small fee for the order. So instead of sending your order to the best possible market, the broker sends it to third party who pays them for the privilege. So there's a bit of a conflict of interest here, and you might get the best price. And actually there have been studies by Dutch and Spanish authorities that have concluded that payment for order flow leads to worse prices for investors.
And here's a very simple example. Let's say you're the buyer here and you have a seller. You're buying it for this price. This is the price you're going to see in your Trade Republic dashboard. And then somebody is also on the other side who's actually selling that price, and they are going to get this price, 25. And the difference between the two prices, that's what the market maker will make. And that's why you're going to actually get a bit worse price than you would without market maker. Now, the differences are very small. We're talking about a few cents here and there, but it does add up in the long run. And it's a little sneaky how they do this. And it's really a bit of a conflict of interest, because in the end, you're not the customer to Trade Republic, but actually these market makers, they are the customers. So you can see that there'll be situations, maybe they'll prioritize the market makers instead of you.
And this is one of the reasons Trade Republic can offer low commissions, since they make money from routing trades instead. But the European Union has decided to ban payment for order flow from 2026 onwards. However, it's a bit more complicated because it might not be fully banned, especially in Germany and so on. So it's a little bit still in the air. So I would definitely, if you want to read more about it, I'll leave a link in the description so you can research this part. Right now, my money is there. If something changes, I think what will change, it's not that they will stop existing, they will just change how they take the fee. So maybe their trading fee will go up or something else. We just need to see how they react to this. The third thing I don't like about Trade Republic is that it is missing assets like option trading, futures, and CFDs. So if you want something more advanced, it's not possible in Trade Republic. For example, if you want to use leverage, then it's just not possible. You need to look somewhere else. But honestly, most people don't need these things. If you're investing for 10 or 20 years, stocks or ETFs are all you need. So while day traders are, disappointed, long-term investors won't care as much, and Trade Republic will probably cater for their needs. When doing research for this video, I noticed that many people were complaining that Trade Republic's customer service is really slow. I haven't dealt with them, so I can't comment on that, but I just want you to know that there's some friction there for sure. So what is my final verdict? Should you run away, consider, or just go ahead and sign up with Trade Republic? Well, I would consider Trade Republic if you're a long-term investor. It's just that there are other platforms that do things better than it, but I do appreciate the high interest rates on cash and high deposit guarantees. So maybe it's a good place to park some of your cash. And especially if you're living in Germany, it looks a little bit better from that perspective, but there's just better options right now. If you want to know my favorite brokers in Europe, click on this video to watch my review of 5 brokers where I'll reveal my 2 favorite brokers with low fees and essential features for long-term investing.